The Tulane Green Wave recovered from a mediocre 1-2 start to become the league's second-ranked team going into the BCS playoff series. After a 3-3 start, the Green Wave won 6 of their final 7 games, with the lone loss coming against 4th-ranked New Mexico in Week 9. During their 6-1 stretch, Tulane has averaged 46 points a game, with one 61-point performance against Colorado in Week 8, and 2 games in Weeks 11 and 13, where they came within a point of cracking 50. The Wave have entered the BCS tournament on a hot streak and are peaking right when they need to, and they possibly present the only legitimate threat to the undefeated Michigan Wolverines. I'll turn it over to Glenn Albert, who has a hot take on the San Diego State Aztecs, who are looking to pull off a huge upset in the Rose Bowl against the heavily favored Green Wave.
The San Diego State Aztecs aren't backing down from this week's challenge against the second-ranked Tulane Green Tide. The Aztecs played Tulane in the final game of the season and gave them a decent run for their money, losing by just 3 points in a 49-46-point shootout. In that game, Aztec quarterback C.J. Stroud was coming off of a concussion injury that had kept him out for 3 weeks and was shaking off the cobwebs. In this week's matchup, C.J. has been back for a couple of weeks, and he faces a below-average NFL pass defense in the Arizona Cardinals. The Aztecs also may have a secret weapon in the game, as they could have rookie running back Omarion Hampton back in the fold. Omarion Hampton is officially back from injury and is playing Monday Night Football, and he's getting touches. The San Diego State Aztecs had placed Hampton on the injured reserve list and have the opportunity to get an injury redshirt if they leave him inactive for the remainder of the season. However, the chance of moving up in the BCS and challenging for a title might be too much temptation to bear, and there's a real chance of the Aztecs fielding a deeper stable of running backs in the Rose Bowl against the Wave. If the Aztecs were able to pull off the upset, they would certainly have to face the Wolverines, which would likely be the end of the line, but it would clinch for the Aztecs at least an appearance in the Sugar Bowl, where they would compete for the 3rd overall pick in next year's rookie recruit draft. If the Aztecs take the gamble and lose, they don't get the medical redshirt on Hampton, and they head straight to the Holiday Bowl, where a loss could make them fall all the way back to the 8th overall rookie pick next summer. Knowing the program director of the Aztecs, this is a guy who doesn't risk making advances for the program if they seem possible. The Aztecs aren't known for utilizing the redshirt unless the team is either losing and has no hope, or the player in question simply isn't performing in a meaningful way. This is why it's looking like it will be all hands on deck this coming weekend as SDSU looks to shock the second-ranked Green Wave and advance to the Peach Bowl against Michigan. On a side note, the Aztecs have owned the Peach Bowl. SDSU had been there 3 times in the past, and they've won every one of them. One of those games was a 60-33 blowout win over the Wolverines. That's got to be something that will be on Gerald Lane's mind if this game comes to pass. This is Glenn Albert reporting from San Diego. I now pass it on to our favorite football analyst, Philip from Chicago, for a word about the Tulane Green Wave.
Thanks for that, Glenn. Well, let's talk about the second-ranked team from Tulane and what their chances are for advancing to the BCS semifinals. The Green Wave are a red-hot team with a red-hot quarterback. Drake Maye has been a jackpot for the program, and he's having a stellar year. Maye is looking like the second coming of Tom Brady in New England. He hasn't scored less than 6.89 points in any game this season, and he has 6 double-digit efforts in 2025. To put that in perspective, Michigan's Jordan Love has had just 3 double-digit games this season, and SDSU's C.J. Stroud has done that just 2 times. Over the past 3 weeks, Drake Maye has outscored C.J. Stroud in particular by an average of 5 fantasy points. This has to give the Green Wave a big advantage in the Rose Bowl, and the Aztecs are either going to need to counter with a sound running attack or one of Stroud's best performances of the season. One thing that could help out San Diego State would be a tough NFL matchup for Drake Maye as he faces the Buffalo Bills for the second time this season in Week 15. The last time Maye faced the Bills, he scored over 8 fantasy points, but he threw no touchdown passes. The Bills tend to allow good yards after the catch, so perhaps the Patriots and Maye will look to exploit this weakness with the likes of Kayshon Boutte, Demario Douglas, and veteran Stephon Diggs. But the Green Wave have more than just a dominant quarterback to get behind. Their running attack is top-notch, with no less than 3 running back ones on the roster. R.J. Harvey is the main man in Denver. Travis Etienne is the top guy with Jacksonville. And James Cook is an absolute workhorse for the Buffalo Bills. The Green Wave are almost 100% assured that they will get solid production from the ground game, and that's something the Aztecs are going to need to overcome if they are to pull off this upset. The bottom line is that the Aztecs did play Tulane tough in the final game of the season, and there's a very realistic chance of them pulling off a stunning upset in the Rose Bowl. The Aztecs are likely to be sporting a deep-running attack with Kieran Williams, Omarion Hampton, and Ramondre Stevenson, which could potentially eliminate any advantage the Green Wave have in that department. If Drake Maye takes over, he could win the game for Tulane all by himself. If he struggles, it will open the door for C.J. Stroud and the Aztecs, and Stroud is also capable of putting a team on his back. The Aztecs have a chip on their shoulder entering this Rose Bowl, and this game is shaping up to be a good one. The winner goes on to play for a shot at the BCS title. The drama is running high, and everyone loves a rematch. The Wave know it's a tough task beating a solid team twice in a row, and the Aztecs know they have what it takes to win a title in this league, so the Rose Bowl is promising to be one for the books.